Welcome everyone to this comprehensive revision lesson on group policy in Active Directory. In this session, we will cover everything you need to know for exams and real-world administration. We will start by defining what group policy actually is and why organizations rely on it. Then we will explore where group policy objects are created and physically stored within the network infrastructure. We will also examine what these policies affect, specifically users, computers, and applications. Next, we will break down exactly how group policy works, including the critical processing order that determines which policy wins when conflicts occur. We will look at the role of servers and domain controllers in storing, replicating, and applying policies. We will also cover RSOP, which is the resultant set of policy tool that lets you view the effective policies on any individual computer. By the end of this session, you will have a clear, structured understanding of group policy from creation to effect. Let us begin with slide 2, where we define group policy and its core purpose in the network environment. Group policy is a fundamental feature of Microsoft Active Directory domain services that allows network administrators to centrally manage and configure operating system settings, user environments, and application behavior across the entire organization. Its primary purpose is standardization, ensuring that every user and computer in the domain has consistent configurations. Security is another major purpose. Group policy enforces password policies, account lockout rules, and restricts user permissions. It also restricts users from accessing control panel, changing desktop wallpaper, or installing unauthorized software. Additionally, group policy enables automated deployment of software and scripts across hundreds of machines simultaneously. Group policy affects two main types of objects. User settings include desktop wallpaper, start menu layout, folder redirection, and logon scripts. Computer settings include security policies, Windows update behavior, firewall rules, and power management. Applications are also affected, including Microsoft Office, Internet Explorer, and third-party controls. Think of group policy as the rulebook that tells every computer and user in the domain exactly how they should behave. Without it, managing a large network would be chaotic and inconsistent. Group policy objects, or GPOs, are created and managed using the Group Policy Management Console, which is an MMC snap-in typically installed on domain controllers or on administrative workstations with RSAT tools installed. Physically, each GPO is stored in two separate locations. The first component is the Group Policy Template, or GPT, which is stored in the sysvol folder on every domain controller. The GPT contains actual policy settings, scripts, security templates, and administrative template files. It is replicated to all domain controllers to ensure high availability. The second component is the Group Policy Container, or GPC, which is stored in the Active Directory database. The GPC stores metadata such as the GPO's version number, whether it is enabled or disabled, and its links to sites, domains, and organizational units. GPOs are linked to containers in the AD hierarchy, specifically sites, domains, or US. Multiple GPOs can be linked to the same container, and they are processed in a defined order. A GPO is never just one single file, it is always a combination of AD data in the GPC and a folder structure in sysvol for the GPT. Group policy objects affect two primary types of objects in Active Directory, users and computers. Computer configuration settings apply to the machine itself, regardless of which user logs in. These include security policies that enforce password complexity and account lockout, startup scripts that run when the machine boots, Windows update settings, BitLocker drive encryption, and network configuration. User configuration settings apply to the user, regardless of which machine they log into, provided they have roaming profiles. These include folder redirection that saves user documents to network locations, desktop wallpaper restrictions, start menu limitations, logon scripts that run when the user signs in, and application settings such as default browser configurations. The scope of influence is highly flexible. A GPO linked at the domain level affects every user and computer in the entire domain. A GPO linked to a specific OU affects only objects inside that OU. Furthermore, security filtering allows you to apply a GPO only to specific security groups, and WMI filtering allows you to apply policies only to machines meeting certain criteria, such as Windows 11 only. Group policy processing follows a specific order, commonly remembered by the acronym LSTO, which stands for local, site, domain, and organizational unit. Processing always begins with local machine policy. These are settings stored locally on each computer, and they are applied first. Next, GPOs linked to the Active Directory site are applied. Sites are physical locations, such as a branch office. Third, GPOs linked at the domain level are processed. Finally, GPOs linked to the organizational unit where the computer or user resides are processed. The most important rule is that when conflicts occur between multiple GPOs, the last processed policy wins. This means that settings in an OU-linked GPO will override conflicting settings from the domain, site, or local levels. Administrators can also use enforce, which forces a GPO to apply regardless of child container settings, and block inheritance, which prevents parent GPOs from affecting a specific OU. Group policy refreshes automatically every 90 to 120 minutes on workstations and every 5 minutes on domain controllers. You can manually refresh using Gupdate. Every group policy object is structured with two main sections, each containing numerous subcategories. The computer configuration section contains policies that apply to the machine. This includes administrative templates, which are registry-based settings controlling hundreds of Windows features like disabling control panel or forcing proxy settings. It also includes security settings such as password policies, audit policies, and user rights assignments. Additional categories include software installation policies, Windows update settings, and startup and shutdown scripts. The user configuration section contains policies that apply to users. This includes administrative templates for user interface restrictions like start menu and taskbar lockdowns. It also includes folder redirection, which moves user folders like documents and desktop to network shares. Internet Explorer or Edge settings are configured here, along with logon and log off scripts. Administrative templates use ADMX files, which are stored in the GPT portion of sysvol. These template files can be customized to include settings for third-party applications. Security templates are also stored here for applying consistent security configurations. Every GPO is essentially a container with two independent halves, one for computers and one for users. Group policy objects are created and managed primarily through the Group Policy Management Console, or GPMC, which is launched by running gpmc.msc. This tool is available on domain controllers and also on administrative workstations that have the remote server administration tools installed. To create a new GPO, you open GPMC, expand the forest and domain, right-click on Group Policy Objects, and select New. You assign a descriptive name such as Sales Desktop Restriction. Once created, you right-click the new GPO and select Edit to configure its computer and user settings. After editing, you link the GPO to a site, domain, or OU by right-clicking the container and selecting Link an existing GPO. This binding determines which objects receive the policy. You can also create GPOs using PowerShell with the new GPO command, and you can list all GPOs with get GPO all. It is important to understand that the GPMC is purely a management interface. The actual GPO data is physically stored across the Active Directory database, which is the GPC, and the sysvol folder, which contains the GPT. Domain controllers play a central role in group policy. They store and replicate the group policy container in the Active Directory database across all domain controllers. They also store and replicate the group policy template files within the sysvol folder, ensuring every DC has the same GPT files. Domain controllers also authenticate users and computers before any group policy is applied. They host the GPMC tool for administration, and interestingly, domain controllers themselves also process group policy, as they are both the source and targets of policy. Member servers, which are not domain controllers, also process GPOs like workstations. They apply computer configuration settings for security hardening, Windows updates schedules, and application deployment. User configuration settings apply when administrators log into these servers. Workstations are the most common targets of group policy, processing computer configuration during system startup and user configuration during user logon. Workstations also maintain a local cache of GPT files to function even when the network is temporarily unavailable. This architecture ensures that group policy is both centrally managed and resilient. RSOP stands for Resultant Set of Policy, and it is the essential tool for viewing the effective group policy settings on an individual computer or user. After all GPOs are processed and conflicts are resolved, RSOP shows you the final, combined result. This is critical for verifying that your policies are applying as intended and for troubleshooting when a setting does not take effect. RSOP reveals which specific GPO won when conflicts occurred, making it invaluable for diagnosing policy issues. There are three main ways to launch RSOP. The graphical method is to run rsop.msc, which opens an MMC console displaying applied settings by category. For a summary report, you can use gpresult/r in the command line, which shows all applied GPOs and security groups. For a detailed report, gpresult/hreport.html generates a comprehensive HTML document with all applied and denied settings. RSOP is the ultimate truth teller. It shows exactly what policies are enforced on a machine, regardless of how many GPOs are linked or where they are linked. Let us summarize everything we have covered. Group policy is a centralized configuration management feature for users and computers in Active Directory. GPOs are stored in two places, the GPC in the Active Directory database and the GPT in the sysvol folder on domain controllers. Group policy affects user settings and computer settings, with scope controlled by linking to sites, domains, or US, and further refined by security and WMI filtering. The processing order is LS2, local, site, domain, OU, and the last policy in this order wins any conflicts. The primary management tool is GPMC, with update for refreshing policies. The primary viewing tool is RSOP, launched via rsop.msc, or gpresult for detailed reports. Remember these key abbreviations: GPO, GPMC, GPT, GPC, RSOP, LS2, sysvol, and ADMX. For exams, commit this definition to memory. Group policy is an ADDS feature that centralizes configuration management for users and computers. And always remember that RSOP is your go-to tool for verifying exactly which policies are effective. This concludes our revision lesson on group policy.